3 days before the wedding, I was hit by a car and my spine was broken. Robert Miller paid $2 million to have it done. I lay in the hospital bed, unwilling to wake up because of the terrible news of being crippled. In a daze, I heard Robert Miller tell the doctor to remove my uterus, just so I would accept his child with another woman. Don't talk back. Just follow my plan. The surgery to remove the uterus must be clean, don't let her find out. Once she wakes up, I'll take her to the children's home to bring the child back. Without the chance to have her own, she'll surely love Lily dearly. The doctor wiped sweat from his forehead, his heart heavy. Mr. Miller, are you sure about this? Miss Gu is already paralyzed from the waist down. Taking her uterus too? That's practically taking her life. How will she ever face Robert's parents again? Besides, your child with Emily is already 3 years old. That girl looks 80% like you. If Miss Gu finds out, everything will be ruined. Robert Miller reached out, expertly wiping my cracked lips again and again with a wet wipe. His voice was full of the regret of unfulfilled love. She won't find out. As long as she's crippled, she'll be confined to the Miller estate for life, unable to step outside. I promised Emily I'd give her a magnificent wedding and watch our child grow up with my own eyes. Even if she's married to someone else now, I will never let her have any worries. The doctor beside him sighed, looking at my pale face on the hospital bed. Sarah is a good girl. You two grew up together, why insist on holding on to that? Never mind, I won't say any more. If you think it's fine, then go ahead. Go prepare for the surgery. Remember, make it clean, leave no traces. I don't want her to be in too much pain before she wakes up. The doctor quickly left the hospital room. Robert Miller took out his phone and sent a voice message to his assistant. That driver didn't spill anything, right? As agree. D. Give his family $2 million as payment, help them move out of the city. Don't let Sarah find out. Tears fell uncontrollably, soaking the pillow. Robert Miller used warm water to wipe my body over and over. A chill still ran through me. So, the wedding I had looked forward to for 5 years was just preparing the way for Emily. The car accident wasn't an accident at all. He was just removing me, a stumbling block, for Emily. The happiness and fulfillment I thought I had were just bubbles, illusions. Lies and hurt were the truth between us. I struggled, trying to open my eyes. But soon, anesthesia was injected into my body. Before I was pushed into the operating room, Robert Miller kissed my forehead with feigned tenderness. Good girl, it will be over soon. Sarah, I'll wait for you. Cold medical instruments churned inside me. My broken heart turned cold with them. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the hospital room. I still had no feeling below my waist. Robert Miller was guarding the hospital bed, his face full of worry when he saw I was awake. He took my hand in his and pressed it gently against his cheek. Sarah, you're awake. Is anything still bothering you? Tell me if you're in pain, and I'll have them change your medication. The same expression of cherishing me as before, but his eyes were completely devoid of warmth. Could a person really go to such lengths for another? I shook my head gently and touched the stubble on his chin. You didn't sleep all night, did you? I'm fine, you rest a bit. Robert Miller didn't think much of it, relaxed, and quickly fell asleep. I picked up his phone from the bedside table and unlocked it. The wallpaper was still the wedding photos we had taken beforehand. The messaging app was still open in the background. The contact pinned at the top was noted as Emily. I clicked into the chat window, and besides cute cat emojis, it was full of photos of Emily holding the child. Lily kept asking for her dad today. She's so small and already knows daddy is handsome. She's definitely going to be particular about looks when she's older. Lily had a good appetite today. She ate all the cake you sent by herself. Lily is begging to go to the amusement park with her dad. I can't talk her out of it. Come over if you have time. Robert Miller hadn't replied. But below every single photo, there was a video recording up to 2 hours long. Remembering how he used to say he didn't like children, I finally understood. He didn't dislike children. He just didn't like the child who would be born from my womb. He had set up a separate photo album just for Emily. The password was the child's birthday. 5,000 photos documented the child's 3 years of growth. Robert Miller was with them for every important holiday. The second chat window on the app was the conversation history with the wedding planner. From the moment he started preparing for the wedding a month ago, Robert Miller had given Emily's name. The wedding dress was her size. The invitations were written in both their handwriting. From the beginning, he never intended for me to be at this wedding. I gave a self-mocking laugh and didn't look further. I contacted Sarah's best friend and asked her to find another hospital for surgery abroad. I applied to cancel all my identification documents here. Sarah's best friend didn't think much of it, only assuming I had finally seen Robert Miller's true colors. Her messages were filled with happiness for me. Putting down my phone, I fell into a deep sleep. When I opened my eyes again, I was woken by Robert Miller's crying. He held a medical report in his hand, his shoulders shaking. "Sarah," the doctor said during the checkup, "they found you were born without a uterus, you can't have children. Don't worry, I won't abandon you. No matter what you become, you are my wife. How about we adopt a child after you're discharged? With a child to keep you company, you'll slowly get better." I was the one who had lost the ability to have children, but he looked more upset than I was. His acting was convincing, and I couldn't be bothered to expose him. After a long silence, I looked at the report in his hand and nodded slowly. Robert Miller shed tears of relief and pulled me into a hug. "I will take good care of you. Don't be afraid. No matter what anyone says, I'll stand by you. After we're married, I'll transfer all the assets under my name to you, as your security." Our chests were pressed tightly together, but our heartbeats were on different frequencies. After a while, Robert Miller hesitated before speaking. "It's just that the wedding is already prepared. Now that you haven't recovered, maybe we need to find someone to take my place. Don't lose face for the Millers." I knew what he wanted to say. Rather than be put in a passive position, I decided to bring it up myself. At least I could leave with some dignity. Robert Miller was surprised by the change in my attitude. But his wish had been granted, and he didn't press for details. His phone rang. He glanced at it and said, startled, "Sarah, what identification documents did you cancel?" I quickly swiped away the message and explained calmly, "Nothing, the documents expired. I can renew them online." He didn't think much of it, held me tighter, his voice full of tenderness. "You're not well right now. Just tell me anything you need, and I'll handle it for you." "Robert Miller, I want to be discharged." His emotions suddenly became tense. "No, your body hasn't recovered." "I don't agree." I tugged at his arm, shaking it, a smile on my face. "Didn't you say you wanted to take me to adopt a child? We have staff at home to take care of things, nothing will go wrong. I want to visit the children's home, okay?" We had been together for 5 years, and this was the first time I had ever acted spoiled with him. Robert Miller couldn't resist and softened, agreeing. On the way, he took out the cakes he had already prepared in the car and placed them one by one in front of me. He said he'd bought them especially for me. But the note on the packaging, stating they were suitable for young children, still stung my eyes. I closed the bag, threw the cakes in the back, and closed my eyes, pretending to feel unwell. This 5-year-long lie, it was time for it to end. As soon as I entered the children's home, sitting in my wheelchair, a little girl ran up and hugged Robert Miller's leg, calling him daddy incessantly. Robert Miller's face changed slightly. Afraid I'd suspect something, he quickly explained, "Don't misunderstand. I sponsor this children's home. I've visited a few times before. This child is an orphan, and she's always called me that." I nodded, smiling, and touched the child's face. "She looks a lot like you. If you hadn't said anything, I would have thought she was yours." "What's her name?" "Lily. The one I plan to adopt." Before he could explain further, Lily started crying and calling for mommy. Robert Miller's face instantly went pale. He looked at me, his brow furrowed. "I'm fine. Go comfort her. She's a pretty child, I like her too." My words made him relax. Robert Miller didn't think twice, picked up the child, and went into the office. I excused myself to go to the restroom to get away. But outside the door, the staff's hushed conversations kept reaching me. Why is Mr. Miller pretending his own child is an orphan? Those clothes she's wearing are designer, worth more than my life. Who'd believe she's an orphan? What do you know? Mr. Miller has it all planned. This is the only way to get the child into the Millers legitimately. Be smart when you go out later, don't let Miss Gu hear anything. See? Mr. Miller's true favorite is still Emily. They used to volunteer here together in college. I saw it back then. I never thought it would come true. Man and woman alone in the same room, who knows what's happening right now? The suggestive laughed reached my ears, making it hard to breathe. I wheeled my wheelchair to the door and heard a familiar voice from inside. Is he treating you well? He's doing fine. It's just that he's often overseas, so some things get overlooked. This way is good too. Robert won't find out about Lily, and he's even pushing me to have a child for him. Robert Miller chuckled, but his eyes were full of sadness. Once Lily is settled with the Millers, you won't have to worry anymore. Just message me if you need anything. Oh, this is a bracelet I just bought. Consider it a wedding gift for you. Emily took the gift box and winked playfully. Why are you giving me things again? How many wedding gifts have you given me in the year since I got married? My closet is overflowing. Sarah will definitely be unhappy if she finds out. While saying this, she didn't stop taking the gift. Beside them, Lily laughed and threw herself at Emily, calling her mommy nonstop. The director, rushing to finish the paperwork, came to me and pushed the door open. A flicker of panic crossed Robert Miller's eyes. Sarah, why did you come over? Don't overthink it. Emily is a volunteer at this children's home. She just happened to be here today to talk about me adopting Lily. Emily stood up, holding Lily in her arms, and waved to me. Sarah, long time no see. I sat in my wheelchair, smiled and nodded, swallowing my hurt. It's fine, I was just looking around. Since you're busy, I won't bother you. I'll wait in the car. With that, I turned and left. Robert Miller thought I was angry and rushed after me, explaining for a long time. Don't misunderstand. She comes here often to volunteer and donate. The children in the yard all call her mommy. I'll explain to Lily once the adoption paperwork is finalized. Seeing how anxious he was for me, I suddenly felt like laughing. To get the child in legitimately, he hadn't hesitated to cause a car accident to cripple me. Now that he had what he wanted, who was he playing the victim for? Don't worry. I'm not that unreasonable. Go handle the paperwork. I'll wait quietly in the car. He breathed a sigh of relief and watched me get back into the car. Every staff member who passed by looked at me with mockery in their eyes. I ignored them and took out my phone to cancel my identification documents online. To celebrate Robert Miller bringing the child home, the Millers held a family dinner. I claimed my body hadn't recovered and hid on the second floor to rest. But the jeering laughter of Robert's parents downstairs still filtered through the crack in the door. Moving my wheelchair, I stopped at the landing of the stairs. I watched the harmonious scene of the family of three downstairs. Robert Miller thoughtfully placed Lily's favorite food on her special plate. Emily laughed and teased him, saying he would spoil the child rotten this way. Robert Miller was unconcerned, touching the small crown on Lily's head. She's my daughter. She can do no wrong. The pent-up resentment in my chest exploded completely. I returned to the room and tore up everything Robert Miller had given me over the past 5 years, throwing them into the trash can. As the trash can tipped over, Emily suddenly appeared before me. She kicked over my wheelchair. I was sweating all over from the pain, but she smiled brightly. Sarah, isn't it painful to be a cripple? All these years, and you're still useless. Watching your own wedding nameplate replaced with mine, watching your husband bring home my daughter, and you still have to swallow your tears and pretend nothing's wrong. I almost pity you. I struggled to get back up. The next second, Emily leaned back and fell straight down the stairs. I didn't even have time to react. Robert Miller had already caught her in his arms. He looked at me, his eyes full of rage. Sarah, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Emily was just being nice and coming up to tell you dinner was ready. How dare you lay a hand on H? Robert's parents also looked at me with displeasure. Lily stood nearby, crying loudly. Bad woman hurt mommy. I don't want this bad woman in the house. I want mommy. Emily weakly clutched Robert Miller's shoulder. I'm sorry, I just told Sarah that I agreed to attend the wedding in her place. I didn't expect her to misunderstand. Don't blame Sarah, she didn't do it on purpose. I lay on the floor, looking pathetic, a cold smile on my lips. Robert Miller, the wedding, the car accident, the child. Don't you owe me an explanation? Robert Miller frowned, a flicker of panic in his eyes. Explanation for what? The car accident was your own fault. What does that have to do with Emily? She was kind enough to agree to attend the wedding for you. Instead of being grateful, you attacked her. Sarah, when did you become like this? Apologize to Emily. Before I could speak, Robert's parents had turned cold. She's already a cripple and still causing trouble. Does she really think she's still the Goof family's precious daughter? Who else would want a useless person besides my son? That's enough. Don't bother with her. Her being crippled today is her retribution. Quickly, take Emily to the hospital. Don't let her get hurt. My nails dug hard into my palms, and blood flowed uncontrollably from below my waist. Robert Miller held Emily in one arm and led the child with the other. Just like that, they left the house. 5 years of love turned to ash in that moment. I struggled back into my wheelchair. I bought a plane ticket for the wedding day. Then I went to a hotel. That night, Robert Miller sent a message to explain. Emily is still attending the wedding for you, after all. You hurt her, it won't look good at the wedding. Making you apologize was just a temporary measure, I was putting on a show for her. Don't overthink it. My parents just said that casually. I'll bring them to apologize to you after the wedding. Get some good rest. I've prepared a surprise for you. It will arrive on the wedding day. You'll definitely love it. But I knew this act wasn't for Emily's benefit at all. It was for mine. He had faked this devotion for 5 years. Now, it was time for it to end. For the next 2 days, I didn't go home. Robert Miller didn't either. He was busy preparing the wedding venue, personally overseeing everything. On the morning of the wedding, I called him. He was busy giving instructions to his assistant and didn't pick up immediately. Mr. Miller, are you sure about transferring half of the company's shares to Emily? She's not a Miller, after all. Isn't this too risky? Do as I say. This half is the compensation I promised her. The other half is for the child. You personally handle the wedding guests. Be careful, the Goof family might show up to cause trouble. After the assistant left, Robert Miller finally remembered the connected call. Sarah? Sorry, did I keep you waiting? The wedding is about to start. I'll come right back to you as soon as it's over, don't be upset. I looked at the plane ticket in my hand, expressionless. Then you should get back to it. I won't bother you. Robert Miller, happy wedding. He froze for a second, then burst out laughing. It's our happy wedding. Wait for me at home like a good girl. I hung up the phone and got on the plane. After receiving the text message confirming my identification documents were canceled, I deleted all his contact information. The wedding began. Robert Miller kept thinking about that phone call, a sense of unease creeping into his heart. He turned and instructed his assistant. Go find out where Sarah is. I'm getting married to someone else. She's bound to cause a scene. The ceremony ended, and Robert Miller, holding Emily's hand, began making the rounds, mingling with guests. The assistant rushed back, his face pale. It's bad, Mr. Miller. Miss Gu took a flight this morning, and that plane just crashed into the sea. Silence fell over the entire wedding venue. Robert Miller's face, which had just been full of joy and excitement, instantly turned pale. The glass in his hand fell and shattered on the floor. He didn't care about the Miller family's reputation. He grabbed the assistant's collar, his eyes full of fury. What did you say? Say it again. Where did Sarah go? Emily beside him tried to pull him back, constantly trying to comfort him. Robert, don't be rash. Everyone's watching, your parents are here too. We can talk about this later. Robert? Listening to her soft, worried words, Robert Miller couldn't remain calm as he had before. He used his other hand to shove Emily away and dragged the assistant to a deserted corner. What happened to Sarah? She was supposed to be waiting for me at the Miller estate. We talked on the phone this morning, she promised me she would. Perhaps because of the emotional turmoil, Robert Miller didn't even notice the tremor in his voice. He didn't know why he was so agitated. But the moment he heard something had happened to me, his emotions completely broke down. The assistant panicked and quickly showed him the news of the plane crash on his phone. Miss Gu was indeed on that flight. I just found out. The Millers said they needed extra hands for your wedding these past 2 days, so all the staff from the house were sent to the hotel. There was no one at home to look after Miss Gu. I've checked her boarding information. It was indeed that flight. I've also checked the surveillance footage at the house. Miss Gu left the night before last, the same night you left with Emily. The hand on the assistant's collar dropped powerlessly. For the first time, Robert Miller was overwhelmed by a deep sense of helplessness. He couldn't even stand. After a long while, he said softly, "No, she wouldn't. Sarah promised me she would wait for me at home. She even wished us a happy wedding." "No, that's not right," she said. "Happy wedding, Robert Miller A.N.D. Emily." His voice was so low the assistant could barely hear him. Sensing something was wrong, the assistant hesitated. "Mr. Miller, did Miss Gu perhaps find out what you did? Otherwise, given her physical condition, she wouldn't have left at a time like this. If that's the case, I'm afraid." He didn't finish the sentence. But Robert Miller already knew the outcome. Yet he refused to believe the brutal truth laid bare before him. He chose self-deception. "No, it's impossible. Sarah wouldn't find out. With her personality, if she knew anything, she would have confronted me immediately. But she didn't say anything. She didn't message me at all these past 2 days. I clearly explained what happened at the family dinner, and she didn't blame me. She wouldn't just leave like this. I won't allow it. Find her. Search every corner of the earth until you find her. Alive, I want to see her. Dead, I want to bury her body myself." The last sentence was roared out with almost all of Robert Miller's strength. The assistant's face turned pale with fright. He quickly turned around to search for my whereabouts. As soon as he left, Emily approached. She still had her usual fragile and gentle demeanor. She lightly linked her arm through Robert Miller's. "What's wrong? Did something happen to Sarah? I knew she'd be upset about me attending the wedding in her place. But today is a big day for the Millers. Several company executives are here, and Robert's parents too. No matter how upset she is, she shouldn't be getting angry at you at a time like this. And lying about a plane crash, she's too willful. Robert, you're just too lenient with her. I know Sarah. She has no friends here. She'll come back when she thinks things through. Don't worry. Your parents are waiting for you to make the rounds outside." If this had been before, Robert Miller might have believed her words and waited for me to return and apologize submissively. But this time, he remembered my Seoul attitude. The turbulent emotions refused to settle. After a long silence, he shook off Emily's arm, his face turning cold. "Emily, let me remind you one last time. You are only attending the wedding in Sarah's place. Sarah is my wife in name. And my parents are not yours to call." A flicker of resentment and unwillingness crossed Emily's eyes. Before she could speak, Lily ran up to them. She gently pulled on Robert Miller's pant leg, shaking it. "Daddy, Daddy, Grandpa and Grandma are calling you. Let's not worry about that bad woman, okay? Lily wants to see Daddy and Mommy together." Hearing the words bad woman, Robert Miller's cold expression darkened even further. He looked directly at Emily. "Did you teach Lily that?" Emily, the child is still young. What kind of things are you teaching her? If you don't know how to raise a child, then Lily will be raised by my parents from now on. Don't interfere anymore." With that, he didn't give Emily a chance to argue. He turned and walked into the main hall. The news of the plane crash was still illuminated on his phone screen. Veins bulged on Robert Miller's hand. As he walked from the entrance of the main hall to the front, he heard guests everywhere muttering and sneering about me. "I heard Miss Jiang is helping out with the wedding. Could Mr. Miller really be in love with that crippled girl from the Gu family? How could that be? The Gu family moved abroad and settled down a long time ago. That Sarah has no relatives here, not a single one, for something as big as a wedding, and no one from her family came. Mr. Miller must not have forgotten Emily. This is a plan to get her back. Didn't you see how grand the wedding is? I don't believe he didn't plan this in advance." "Stop it. Miss Gu is pitiful, too. Not only crippled in a car accident, but also infertile. She'll be useless for the rest of her life. After all, she was the only daughter of the Gu family, and now she's come to this." Every extra word they said made Robert Miller's face darker. How could this be? He had clearly ensured everyone kept quiet about my accident after the crash. The driver certainly wouldn't talk. As long as the wedding finished, I would be his wife in name. He would live a good life with me from then on, watching Lily grow up. He would protect me and not let anyone look down on me because of my injuries. But why did the news get out? He hadn't seen me these past 2 days. What happened during that time? Did those people curse her to her face? Was she bullied? All sorts of doubts lingered in his heart, crushing him until he could barely breathe. Robert's parents saw him return and both breathed a sigh of relief. But what they said next was a fatal blow. "Robert, now that Sarah is gone, let Emily come in and become part of the family." Anyway, Sarah was useless. It's bad luck just having her around. You two pick a date and get married. The Millers haven't had such a big happy event in a long time. After the wedding, I'll go back and have the staff clean out Sarah's room for your master suite. Robert Miller froze, looking at his parents' joyful faces. For the first time, he felt disgust. Married? Didn't Emily already get married to someone else abroad? Robert's mother glanced at him and chuckled lightly. "Oh, you. If I didn't say that, how would you have believed it? It was all just to get Lily into the house. Emily willingly ruined her reputation to have the child recognized by the family. You insisted on staying with that Sarah, so we had no other choice. Now that that cripple is gone, it's perfect. Emily doesn't have to pretend anymore. From now on, you'll be a family." Her going overseas before was unavoidable. We don't blame her anymore. These few sentences almost made Robert Miller lose his mind. His parents' triumphant expressions were a harsh stab to his heart. He remembered his conversations with Emily recently. Whenever he mentioned her husband abroad, Emily always dodged the subject. She never voluntarily talked about how they met. There was no trace of her husband on her social media feed. How foolish he had been to only now discover the truth beneath her lies. And for the sake of bringing Lily home, he had killed the woman he was about to marry. Sarah had no family or friends here. She stayed here for him. He had also promised to be her support for the rest of her life, never to betray their relationship. But what had he done? Guilt and regret tore at him. After a while, Robert Miller said coldly, "My wife will only ever be Sarah. Whether she's alive or dead, I will only marry her. I don't care if Emily is married or unmarried. That night with her 3 years ago was a mistake. If I had known it would result in Lily, I would never have gotten involved with her again. If this wedding is what you wanted, then you finish it. As for my wife, I will find her, even if it kills me." With that, Robert Miller turned and left. Before he could walk out of the main hall, Emily hurried up to him, holding Lily in her arms. Emily cried anxiously. "Robert, Lily accidentally broke a glass just now, and her arm is cut. Where are you going? Can you please take the child to the hospital first?" Blood dripped from Lily's thin arm. At the same time, Robert Miller's phone rang. It was the assistant calling. He didn't look at Emily again. He just left one sentence: "Take a cab yourself. From now on, my parents will take care of the child." Then he left the wedding venue. As soon as he was outside, he immediately answered the assistant's call. "Well, did you find Sarah?" The assistant sighed. "Mr. Miller, I've searched everywhere I could. All I know is that Miss Gu stayed in a hotel for 2 nights before she left, and I have her boarding information from the airport. There's nothing else. You should still go to the rescue team and ask. It's been so long, the body might have already been recovered." Robert Miller hung up the phone before the assistant could finish. He didn't believe it. He didn't believe Sarah would leave him alone. He didn't believe Sarah would die in that plane crash. He got in the car. He floored the accelerator, wanting to rush to the rescue team to inquire. But after 2 intersections, he slammed on the brakes and stopped by the roadside. He slapped his own face twice in frustration. He was the one who had caused the car accident. He was the one who had personally ordered the surgery. Sarah's body was weak now. In an air crash that normal people might not survive, how could she, with her condition, possibly be alive? In his emotional breakdown, he took out his phone and opened the chat window with Sarah. Looking at the smiling profile picture opposite him, it was as if Sarah was still by his side. At times like this, only seeing traces of Sarah's existence could barely make him feel at ease. He reached out, his hand trembling, and repeatedly touched Sarah's profile picture. The chat history was still from 2 days ago. He had been explaining the family dinner that night to Sarah, his words sincere. But Sarah had never replied. She never used to not reply to his messages. No matter what she was doing, his messages were always specially notified. She would answer his calls immediately. When did she start to change? Robert Miller hadn't even noticed. It seemed everything had been different since the car accident. He scrolled up the chat history. It was filled with Sarah's eager anticipation for the wedding they had planned for 5 years. "Robert, does this wedding dress look good? I want a sparkly dress, can't let these long legs go to waste. Can we take our wedding photos in this style? Then we can print them out and hang them in the most prominent place at the wedding venue. I want the whole world to see my happiness, to see that I have a husband who loves me so much. Robert, the wedding ring we bought last time feels a bit big. Can I exchange it? Didn't you say you had a prize for me? You didn't design the wedding ring yourself, did you? You're so sweet." He had indeed personally designed a wedding ring. But it was for Emily. Those dresses were just props to appease Sarah. The wedding Sarah had eagerly anticipated for 5 years. He had been lying to her from the start. But she had never found out, always immersed in the joy of love, believing she had found the most loving support in the world. The joy in the young woman's messages made Robert Miller cry uncontrollably. Tears fell onto the screen. He sent message after message to Sarah, expressing his long-held love for her, his guilt. But the messages only resulted in a red exclamation mark. Sarah had blocked him. Robert Miller didn't hesitate. He drove back to the rescue team. But it was too late. The rescue team found no trace of Sarah in the sea. Meanwhile, my plane landed, and I was already abroad. That air crash was something I orchestrated, a trap specifically set for Robert Miller. He wanted me crippled, he wanted me to wish I were dead, he wanted me to live in lies. As a gift, as repayment, before leaving, I gave him a grand gift too. Sarah's best friend came to pick me up and saw me sitting in a wheelchair. She cried, her face streaked with tears. How could this happen? Robert Miller, that scumbag, didn't he promise to take good care of you? Was it him? Why could the surgery only be done abroad? It must be him, right? Sarah, can't you see his true face even now? Are you still covering for him? I smiled and wiped away her tears. I'm fine. See? I'm okay. Before, I chose to stay by his side. Now, this is just a lesson learned. I don't want to be entangled with him anymore. Leaving like this is better. How are the surgery arrangements? I want to recover before going home. I don't want my family to worry. Sarah's best friend nodded quickly. It's arranged. We have experts here. He's reviewed your medical report and says the success rate for the surgery is very high. We just can't delay. I'll take you there now. The surgery lasted 5 hours. The doctor said I was lucky to have come in time. If I had waited 2 more days, I would never have been able to stand again. Now, I just needed to wait for my body to recover and slowly do rehabilitation exercises. It wouldn't be difficult to return to a normal life. I stopped paying attention to the news here, but the Miller family was too prominent. My phone sent news notifications daily. At the Millers' wedding, the groom ran away halfway through. Emily became the laughingstock of the crowd. Robert's parents came out to explain, saying Emily was the Miller family's daughter-in-law. As soon as the statement was released, Robert Miller personally debunked it. He registered a verified account online and posted our wedding photos. He declared that Sarah was his only wife, for this life and beyond. Lily was brought back to the Miller house by Robert Miller. He threatened his own life, forbidding Emily from appearing at the Miller house. Otherwise, he would destroy all the assets under the Miller name. Robert's parents were unwilling but couldn't argue with their only son. They had no choice but to do as he said. Emily's dream of marrying into wealth was shattered. The two families completely fell out, filing lawsuits over Lily's custody. But Robert Miller, as the child's father, never defended her. Looking at the comments section filled with against Robert Miller, I understood him less and less. This was all his own choice. Now that I had made way for him and Emily, who was this belated affection for? I stopped checking the news here and focused on recuperating in the hospital room. Sarah's best friend visited almost every day to take care of me. Life wasn't too boring. But Robert Miller, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. After failing to find my whereabouts for a week straight, he drank heavily every day, rarely sober. When he was sent to the emergency room for a perforated stomach ulcer, seeing the friend he had grown up with, he questioned himself for the first time. Was I wrong? Sarah isn't dead, is she? I've searched everywhere the rescue team has looked. There's no body. The boarding information must be fake, right? The Goof family is powerful. All this is her punishment for me. The doctor sighed helplessly. Let me be honest with you. Sarah was unconscious before, but even though her eyes weren't open, she was still aware. Everything you did, she knew. During the surgery, I saw the tears in her eyes. Robert, she's completely broken by you. She won't come back. I told you from the start, you and Sarah were meant to be. Emily was just a brief apparition in your college life. She left, and that should have been the end of it. You're living in the past. I can't wake you up. Sarah's appearance was once your salvation. I thought since you grew up together, Emily wouldn't disrupt things. But you still made the wrong choice. Emily isn't a good person. The idea she gave you was to completely destroy Sarah. And you stubbornly refused to see it. Now you have no way back. Do you really think that night with Emily abroad 3 years ago was a coincidence? You knew everything deep down. From the moment you planted that seed, your relationship with Sarah was already broken. Robert Miller finally understood what he had missed. What he had lost. But it was too late. Ignoring his post-surgery condition, he took a cab to the police station to file a report. At the police station, he found my new identity information. A day later, he appeared abroad, outside my hospital room. He watched me doing rehabilitation exercises with crutches, struggling. Tears streamed down his face uncontrollably. His tired eyes were bloodshot. He didn't speak, nor did he make any sound. He just hid behind the wall like that, staring blankly for a long time. Before leaving, he left a note for the nurse to give me. It said, "Granting UH. Alpha lifetime unseen is the last promise I made to you.